Hi everyone, welcome to the video. We're in the local forest near my home and it's springtime, and I thought what better time to go and photograph forest birds than now. But we've got a few things going against us. First of all, the forest is extremely dark, and secondly, my kit is very old. So my lens is a Canon prime unstabilized 400mm lens, and its maximum aperture is F5.6. Connected to that is my old crop sensor DSLR, the Canon 70D, with its fairly dated 20 megapixel sensor. Thirdly, I'm going to be using shutter speeds at about 2,000th of a second with an aperture of F7.1. So all of those things combined are going to produce super noisy images. So what am I going to use to try and correct or counter that ISO noise that will be in those photos that I take? Well, Adobe Lightroom have produced an artificial intelligence denoise tool in Lightroom, and we're going to test out to see if it works for extreme conditions such as this. Now, artificial intelligence is quite scary, but there are some positive aspects to it, such as denoise. So we're going to test it out and see how far we can push it. Well, I started with probably the most difficult kind of shot I could take, and that was of a tawny owl that's sitting in a tree, and it's completely in shadow. And I looked at the back of the camera and it's just almost completely black. So I lowered the shutter speed to about 1250th, and we'll see what it looks like after I've reduced the shadows and also the denoised it in Lightroom.
Dit is leuk om mee te maken.
Yeah. I've seen a mandarin duck here on the lake, so I'll try and get some shots of that. Tried to get some vertical shots because this lens is notorious without image stabilization of getting sharp shots when I go vertical or in portrait mode. So the high shutter speed will help me with my stability. So I got a couple of vertical shots of the mandarin duck and also a couple of landscape shots. So that was a good test for the camera and the lens. There was a cormorant that just came out of the water on a log and it had to dry its wings. So I looked at the ISO at a shutter speed of 2,000th of a second, and the ISO was up around 4,000, so it's quite high. I lowered it to about 1,600th of a second and the ISO was about 2,500. So that's a great test for the software to try out, and you'll see the photos now. We're waiting for some more bird action. I did go to the forest yesterday and I managed to take a good variety of photos of birds ranging from blue tits to Eurasian jays and a variety of other critters. So take a look at these photos that I took and applied the Denoise tool to. I just heard a woodpecker, the great spotted woodpecker, hammering in a tree, which I think is like telling somebody or telling other birds that this is his territory, or females that he's an available bachelor. A few weeks ago though, I was in a forest, this forest I think it was, and I got my best shots of woodpeckers so far, where the birds were further down on the trees and there wasn't so much foliage or spring growth, and I got some really good shots, and there it is again. And the high shutter speeds allowed me to really catch these fast birds. It's a swan taking off. And landing. Bloody hell. Thought I was about to be hit by a plane. Yeah, so these woodpeckers, they land, they move really fast in these trees, and often they go behind a tree if you're trying to photograph them. But it was quite dark, and I took several shots of these woodpeckers, and I'll show them to you now, before denoise and after denoise. So in my eyes, the Denoise tool for Lightroom is a real success, and for stills photography I will be using it going forward. Also for my stock photography of non-wildlife related images. So that's it for me in the forest today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!